Ishtar, the mother of the Anunnaki. Ishtar was undoubtedly a goddess of Semitic origin and symbolized the fertility of the earth. It is probable that her cult originated at Erech, and in the course of the centuries and under many nominal changes dispersed itself throughout Western Asia and even into Greece and Egypt. It is probable that a number of lesser goddesses, such as Nana and Anunit, may have become merged in the conception of this divinity, and that lesser local deities of the same character as herself may have taken her name and assisted to swell her reputation. She is frequently addressed as the mother of the gods, and indeed the name Ishtar became a generic designation for goddess. But these were later honors. When her cult centered at Erech, it appears to have blossomed out in many directions, and as has been said, lesser cults probably eagerly identified themselves with that of the Great Earth Mother, so that in time her cult became more than just a Babylonian cult. Indeed, wherever people of Semitic speech were to be found, there was the worship of Ishtar. As Ashtaroth, or Astarte, as she was known to the Canaanites, Phoenicians, and Greeks. And there is some likelihood that the cult of Aphrodite had also its beginnings in that of Ishtar. We shall enquire later whether she can be the Esther of the scriptures. Astrologically, she was identified with the planet Venus, but so numerous were the attributes surrounding her, taken from other goddesses, with which she had become identified, that they threatened to overshadow her real character, which was that of the Great and Fertile Mother, the original god concept. Along came a spider and sat down beside her. More especially, her identification with Nin-lil, the consort of Enlil, the storm god, threatened to alter her real nature, and in this guise she was regarded as a goddess of war. It is seldom that a goddess of fertility or love achieves such a distinction. It is clear that something has been attached to the original god concept. Gods possessing an agricultural significance are nearly always war gods, which does not discount Enki, the god of agriculture. But that is because they bring fertilizing thunderclouds, and therefore possess the lightning arrow or spear. But Ishtar is specifically a goddess of the class of Persephone or Isis, and her identification with battle must be regarded as purely accidental, or by design, to darken her character. In later times in Assyria, she was conceived as the consort of Ashur, the head of the Assyrian pantheon. In the days where a god or goddess did not breathe war, was of little use to the people like Assyrians, who were constantly employed in hostilities, the empire, and this circumstance naturally heightened her reputation as a warlike divinity. I said this in a previous documentary, which actually parallels Lewis Spencer's words here. There is no glory in war, only in defense. The old gods would have no place in the empire. But it is at present her original character with which we are occupied. Indeed, in some texts we find that, so far from being able to protect herself, Ishtar and her property are made the prey of the savage Enlil, the storm god. This would be Enlil, Mul-lil, meaning zoo under another guise, and Nin-lil would be Mul-me-Sarah, who is Enlil's female form, meaning that the warlike nature of Ishtar is actually Enlil, who is Mul-lil, taken over by the divine storm bird. It is written, Enlil, his word sent me forth, she complains. As often as it comes to me, it casts me prostrate on my face. The unconsecrated foe entered my courts. placed his unwashed hands upon me, and caused me to tremble. Putting forth his hand, he smote me with fear. He tore away my robe, and clothed his wife therein. He stripped me of my jewels, and placed them upon his daughter. Like a quivering dove, upon a beam I sat, like a fleeing bird. From my cranny swiftly I passed. From my temple, like a bird, they caused me to fly. That is deeply symbolic. Such is the complaint of Ishtar, who in this case appears to be quite helpless before the enemy. It is all about perception. These words make Ishtar appear weaker than her rivals. Similar to Zeus and the seven sisters, it is dominance over the elder god. The myth which best illustrates her character is that which speaks of her journey to Aralu, the underworld. The poem in which it exists, which in its existing form consists of 137 lines in cuneiform characters, appears to be incomplete. We are told therein the purpose of the goddess journeying to the underworld, to the house of no return. But we gather from various legends and from the concluding portion of the poem itself that she went there in search of her bridegroom, Tammuz, the sun god of Eridu. The importance of the myth of Ishtar and Tammuz lies partly in the fact, by travelling westwards to Greece by way of Phoenicia, it furnished the groundwork for classic myths of the Adonis-Attis type, which still provide mythologists with matter for endless speculation. The mythological significance of the poem and the persons it mentions will be dealt with later. The theories concerning the primitive status of Tammuz and Ishtar are numerous and distinct, more than one of them being sufficiently plausible to call for a careful scrutiny. I have arrived. Consideration of the myth may therefore be deferred till we have glanced at the Babylonian story itself, of some of its principal variants and analogues. There is more to come on Ishtar. She is certainly the most important character of this region, overlaid with darkness. How else would you prevent the light? Shroud it in darkness. Please hit that notification bell to ensure that you are notified of each upload. Share, like, comment and subscribe to support the channel for more ancient mystery.